How are student interns and school nutrition teams merging in Anne Arundel County Public Schools? Next on Food for Thought. Hi, I'm Jodi, the host for Food for Thought, and thanks for watching. Today I'm honored to have a guest, Claire, a student from South River High School and one of our summer interns. Welcome, Claire, to Food for Thought.
Thank you.
Can you tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
Yes, so I am a senior at South River High School. I play 3 sports. I play soccer in the fall, basketball in the winter, and lacrosse in the spring. I'm going to High Point University in North Carolina to play D1 lacrosse, so super excited about that. I've lived in Anne Arundel County for as long as I can remember. My parents went to Southern, my grandparents went to Southern, and even my great-grandparents, so
wow, so there's here. A bunch of Bulldogs in the family, and then some Seahawks.
Yeah, so little rivalry, but I love playing Southern. It's my favorite. So
good.
Yeah, it's been super
So
fun.
Truly like a whole family culture of Anne Arundel County Public Schools. And I think it's something, and I think the viewers are going to see this when we, really kick off the show and get into all the data. How great our relationship was because you had such a vested interest in Anne Arundel County and in nutrition.
Yeah.
Right? So it really was a perfect internship right from the start. So let's talk about an internship. So here you are, you're a rising senior, now you're a senior, you were looking for an internship. Why did you even look for an internship with school nutrition?
So to begin with, for an internship, the thought of dressing up for work every day and meeting new people and getting new experiences was all something that I was like, oh my gosh, this is awesome. And it was awesome. It's been awesome. More specifically with nutrition, as a student athlete, I really have to focus on what makes my performance the best it can be, and that's eating good. And it's, if not the most important thing about being a good athlete and being a good student. And, I have to work good on and off the field. So sports nutrition and nutrition in general is super important to me. So. And
it's fun because I think we get to watch, right, every day when we're together, either, in the office, out at a school site. It's so nice because your lunches are always so packed full of nutrition, right? So very similar to our school lunches, right, that we serve every day. We always encourage fresh fruits and vegetables and fill your plate with all these fruits and vegetables. And every day you're doing that.
Yeah.
I see you every day when you're having your lunch as an intern, just fueling your body with all those things you need for success. And we even talked a little bit more about what's so important also to an athlete is sleep, right?
Absolutely.
And routines. Talk a little bit about just that rigorous routine, but the organization, right? Or your ability to multitask, check things off, knowing that you have your school, you have your clubs, you have practice, you have games, all of that. How does that make you a rounded great person?
So I really have to be on top of everything from schoolwork to, fitting in my practice time and, I have this time before I warm up for a game. So I use an agenda during the school year all the time. I have to. My mom's always on me, go to bed, go to bed. I really have to, every minute that I have extra in school, I'm trying to, wrap up a homework assignment so that if I have a bad game or something, I'm not, upset trying to get my homework done and not really focused. So I really have to, make sure that I'm on top of everything. And as well as, just sports and school, I want to have time with my family. So I really have to, make sure that I have a good balance of school life and family and friends and sports, everything. So I really have
and even teachers, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Everybody probably plays a role in what makes you so successful every day, right? So even if there were students watching today, you just said about having an agenda. My both daughters used agendas.
Right.
It's key.
Oh my gosh,
I need to use it, right?
Yeah.
I'm always saying, even you and I in the internship, right? It's what are we doing today? We have to make a list, put a little box there so you can check it off.
Yeah, and it's awesome because teachers realize, if you try for teachers, they try for you. So it's been being organized and a student, and at South River, all the teachers support athletes, and they understand, you have to leave early from class this day, you have a game, and sorry, I'll get this done to you tomorrow. So if you try for teachers, they really try for you. So they've been my support system.
That's awesome. And isn't it funny? You just said something that triggered when I had the girls in school and they played sports. When you leave early,
Oh my
right?
gosh,
At the beginning, isn't it like almost you're nervous? Like
very
I think as the
hectic.
parents, you're like, you're going to miss third period or you're going
Right.
to miss fourth period. And I think as a student athlete, you're like, well, of course we are. And I think at the beginning, it's probably like, ooh, I
get
missing-
to leave school early. Now it's like, oh my gosh, I don't want to leave school early. Like, I have to make up this test, and it's stressful at times, but I think it's all worth it.
And like you said, I think it's awesome that teachers in Anne Arundel County so support. And it's not only a sports or an athlete. It could be a person running to a band practice, right? It could be
Totally.
music and theater and art and all of those things. It could be really just running to a job, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's still supported and it still makes the student just so well-rounded and prepared for college, prepared for careers, just prepared to go enter the workforce, you know, in whatever fashion they do.
Yeah.
So let's talk about their signature programs. There's magnet programs. There's so many programs in Anne Arundel County. I think it's the best ever. There's a program signature program at South River High School, and it's Global Communications and Public Affairs. So for somebody watching, they're like, what is Mrs. Rissy saying? She's talking about magnets and signature programs and global communications and public affairs. Like, what is that?
So it's called GCPA at school. That's what everybody knows it by. It's a smaller program that we have at school, so it's kind of fun to have a little like tight-knit community. It's really based off of networking and setting you up for the real world. So during the course of my like school classes that I have to do for the program, we learned how to like build a resume, and we had mock interviews, and we would have politicians come in and we would talk to them, and we played like a game of life thing where you had to deal with like taxes and like a salary and a spouse. So we've done it all, and it's kind of awesome. Mr. White, who is in charge of all of it, is so awesome, and he's really like been so helpful, like with even college for me, even though it was like earlier. He really helped me with like, oh, this is a fit for you, or I think you could go here. So he's been awesome, and everybody that's in the program is really like close with each other. We have like a little lounge in the library, so we're all, you know,
Is that where you
back
go
and
for
forth.
your
That's where I go during our nest
Nest.
time. So yeah, we have so much fun, and it's been so awesome. And so part of the GCPA requirement to finish the course and get your cord is you can either take an AACC class or you can do an internship, and it's 135 hours. Really, they give you freedom to do it wherever you want. So for me, it was like stay local, stay somewhere where it means something to me, not just a random like sailing internship that I wouldn't use, honestly.
It would be
So
fun, but
it would
maybe
be
not
so much
useful.
fun.
It'd be a ball.
No,
Right.
it would be
Right.
awesome, but it wouldn't be really as useful. So I chose the internship pathway of it rather than the ACC, just with my scheduling and sports. So this was awesome, and it really pushed me. The GCPA program guided me to do this. So it's been awesome.
And it's so funny. So think about it. So it's global communications, right? It's building relationships. It's understanding how to present yourself both on paper and in person, right? Just through verbal. And here you're doing a TV show.
Right. And we do like absolutely everything. Like mock interviews, I remember being like scared to death, like, oh my goodness, this is going to be terrible. But they really try to focus on your soft skills and building them so that when you get to the part of being an intern, like they want you to feel confident and that you're ready for it.
And when you're applying for college and you already have
A resume.
your resume,
Yeah.
and if you weren't going to college, right? Just think, you're already poised. You already
job,
have your resume ready to go. And I'm sure, do you look at the precision? And working with me, we've had a ball, right? So I'm really kind of picky sometimes, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it has to look right, and it's going out to the public. How do we really present the best way we can for AACPS? But all that you're learning is how do you present as Claire?
Right. Yeah. So we did it all. We, to the font, to the little like spacey, and Mr. White was all over it and like made sure that everything we did was put on that resume and really like explained yourself.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And then do you feel that skill was used in the internship?
Absolutely. Yeah. It was intimidating a little bit to like come into a new office, like with all these adults like who've worked for their job to be in that office, and I'm just like a little intern, like da, 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 da. But it really, like, made me confident, like, oh, I can do this. Like, I've done things like this before. Like, at school, I would have to walk politicians up the stairs or tell them how to get back to their cars, and I would be nervous, but I'd be like, this is what you have to do, like, part of life.
But now, with the politicians or with global communications, and I should know this, and I'm surprised we didn't talk about it. Do you do legislation issues or no?
Not really. We've done a little bit about it. We kind of explore just a little bit of everything. So we've talked about legislation issues and government stuff, but we just kind of try to cover like a broad horizon of like adult life.
I love it. And then when you're with your group, I think you've done multiple little things, right? So, and I think we're going to go into extracurricular and all that, but with your global communications, do you have a club or clubs that's specific to your signature program?
So they have a few clubs that you have to be, or like you have to be in one of, they give you a list of a bunch of clubs, and that's part of being in the program, and to graduate you have to be in a certain club. So they have like Pencils of Promise, which I'm a part of, and then like Best Buddies, Key Club, National Honor Society, like there's a bunch. So they almost like sponsor the clubs, kind of like they guide people to go to those clubs. So it's kind of like a great all around like community feeling where you know people and people know you. So like when you pass somebody in the hallway, I probably would have never known who they were, like,
but they know
have
you.
a class with them, and they know me and I know them because of GCPA. So it's fun.
So can we talk a little bit about Pencils for Promise?
Of course.
Okay.
So
was it at South River though before?
It was not.
Okay.
So in GCPA, we did a book study on Pencils of Promise, and we finished the book study. It was awesome, and I was like, this is great. So I went up to my teacher, and I was like, let's start a club for this. So we have my sophomore year, we started Pencils of Promise, and it's been awesome. It's a for-purpose organization that is trying to provide education all around. So they are building schools in Ghana and a bunch of places in Africa, really, and it's so awesome. So you get to, like, we did pen pals, not to the kids with Pencils of Promise, but in our club we did pen pals, and like it was so cool. Like we got to see like, oh, what do you do for your free time, and it's so much different than like
what you're
here
doing
in America. And we're like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So we've been raising money to try and build a school. We fundraisers, a bunch of different things. We try to do a lot around the school so people know who we are, but it's been so awesome. And
so you're trying to build a school?
Build a school.
So here, I mean, I knew you had the fundraising, and I knew you were sending, and like, I even saw some pictures that were so awesome of your pencils, and they were on a tree, right? And different ways to fundraise or to gather money. I had no idea you were building schools.
Yeah, so it's a very like organized organization. They have different tiers, basically, of like $1,000 is to like provide them with 30 books or something like that. So it's very like specialized in what you do. So you can build like a classroom, you can build a school has 6 classrooms, you can provide like hygiene stations for them, you can do like teacher, like you can provide like teachers to get instruction and lessons and resources. It's awesome. So I've loved it. I think that everybody in the club has loved it, and we're kind of like a little community too. We love it, and every Tuesday it's awesome.
So did you select the build a school?
We did, but I don't know if we'll get there, but we're trying, and it's been awesome just to know that like the impact that can give to so many people. And they have some crazy number, I forget, like how many children are just impacted by one school because they all go through the school, just like how I went through Davidsonville, Central, and South River. Like that's the same. That school's there for all the students following, so it really has a large impact on everybody.
And to think, we talk about it all the time in food service, like what you do for that student in the school, they go home, so it impacts their family at home, and then it impacts their extended family at home.
And it's just community all around.
All around. And we say it all the time. I said, if I could have one more student like enjoy broccoli florets or cauliflower florets, they're going to go home and mom and dad are going to like them more, and grandma or grandpa or an aunt and uncle. You never know. It could be that if they're babysitting, they're going to impact another family.
Yeah.
I love it. So, you know, the reach of what you could do in a positive fashion that's really going to change outcomes for a whole community is unbelievable.
It's awesome. So
I have to and we were going to talk about your extracurricular resources, but hearing build a school. So you and I had the opportunity to do 2 school visits in new construction.
We did.
So why are you so interested in new construction?
Well, my grandfather has his own construction business, so my mom works for him. It's always just been something, like, growing up that we've just been kind of used to. And I remember you and I went to Severn Run, I think, and we had to wear our, like, hard hats. And I sent
In
a
our
picture.
vest?
In our vest. And I sent a picture to my grandfather, and he was like, this is the most awesome thing ever. And I was like, this is, like, full circle moment. And we toured the new school. It was beautiful. And it was super cool, like, behind the scenes of, like, when we had to do the inspection in the cafeteria, like, oh my gosh, this is a lot more than just, like, serving kids at lunch. Like, you have to make sure all the ovens get to a certain temperature, and
the refrigeration.
the freezers and the refrigerators. It's just, like, a lot that you don't even think of, honestly.
Looking at every drain, right? I'm sure you went home and said to your granddad, right? Like,
Yeah.
I looked at everything. Like, it has to be the drains. And then
Yeah.
I think the best part of our few days doing construction is you were able to see, in my role, what it is to build a relationship, right? So the superintendents or the project managers, like everybody who's on the construction side, it was pretty seamless, wasn't
Yeah.
it? I mean, the relationship we have, and it's very mutual. Like, we go and we say, Department of Health is coming. How can we look at all these things to, we always like to say we want a one and done. We want a perfect inspection. It shows the commitment that Anne Arundel County has and who our construction companies have to the Department of Health. So
it was awesome. They're all very friendly. I felt super welcomed in, and I felt that way being in the office. Like, I love everybody, all the area specialists. Like, we have true conversations. Like, it's awesome.
Well, and everybody comes by, right?
Everybody
Good morning,
comes
Claire.
by.
How are you? Like, what'd you do last night?
Yeah, and I'm right across from the kitchen, so everybody stops in for lunch, and I just love it. Like, I felt so welcome, so thankful. Like,
Good.
It's amazing.
That's awesome. We really have loved having you.
And I've loved it.
So let's talk about all the projects you did, right?
All right.
So, you know, somebody watching is going to say, what does a student intern really have to do? And I guess I don't know what student interns do at a hospital or, you know, at another nonprofit agency or a community partner or even a for-profit location. But it just highlights them. I mean, you have taken on responsibilities that were huge. Sometimes we had to go back and forth, right? A whole bunch.
Yeah.
You understand my writing, all my scribbles. Talk about some of your accomplishments because they're so vast. And, you know, I can't stress enough, and I really would love the viewers to see all of the work. Your attention to detail and your precision on everything you do is priceless. So
Sure, I'll talk about it.
Thank you. Talk about them all.
Of course. So my first day, you sent me with an area specialist, and we went to Mobile Meals the first day. We went to Lothian, which is around where my mom and my grandparents grew up. So I was familiar with the area, but not in the areas that we were going to. So we went to a few trailer parks. We followed the van to drop off the food, and honestly, like, the first day I was like, wow, this is awesome. Like, the staff that was passing out the food, like, they knew everybody's names at the trailer park, and they're like, oh, how's this and that? And, like, they actually make, like, relationships with all the kids there and the families, and I was like, this is so awesome. So that was a blast doing Mobile Meals, and so I went and did that almost every week, tried to do it Tuesdays and Thursdays with every area specialist. So I went all over the county to places that I honestly hadn't been before. Like, I thought as an athlete, like, oh yeah, I've been to every high school to, like, play a game or something, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, I didn't even know half of the county, like, existed, honestly, and it was awesome, and getting to see all the kids' faces and waving to them, it was amazing.
And did they have you handing out some meals, I think,
They
and even
did.
serving in schools, right?
Yeah. So that was awesome. And hearing them say thank you made it all, like, worth it, even though I haven't done all the hard parts. But I'm like, this is just, like, very wholesome and sweet. And you know that you're making a difference. So.
And that really was. We kicked you, like, you started, and I said, Claire, guess what? You're going out. Like, today's the first day, and you're going to go out in the field.
Which
So
I'm glad I did. So that was awesome. And then after that, I did a lot of excelling, which I'd never done before. So that was new, and I'm glad that I did it because I feel like that's something you need to know when you get into the workforce. So now I know how to excel. I did lots and lots of menus. And from
So
like...
tell the viewers, like, they might not know. Like, do we have a lot of menus, or do we have a lot of menus?
Oh my gosh, we have a lot of menus. So from breakfast and lunch to dinner and snack to all the texture modification menus to the allergen menus to the early Head Start menus, there was a lot. So from I had to, revise what edits, like, you told me to make, or the other area specialists, and I would give it back to them, and they'd be like, oh, wait, we forgot that this, or I made a silly mistake. Like, it was a back and forth process, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is a lot of Excel, but I'm glad that I could get it done for you guys. Like, it was...
Right. And you changed the look of it, right? So,
yeah.
In the past, we would have, I don't know, they were more little blocks in Excel, right? And then we expanded our options, and we expanded our fruits and vegetables. We expanded to hummus. We expanded our milk. And it was like, it was changing.
It was changing.
It was changing often. Sometimes I would go over, I was like, oh my gosh, Claire is just going to hang me. I have to go and say I have one more little tweak to it, or, one more. So it was really good.
So yeah, menus was majority, but honestly, like, it was kind of like fun, like typing and fixing everything up, and going to some of the area specialists, and they'd be like, oh wait, like, I forgot this is gluten-free and this isn't gluten-free, and you'd be like, oh my gosh, like, I don't know how I didn't see that. And so menus was fun. I went to a lot of schools just to check in with, like, the staff at schools, and they would do their summer meals. I went to the aquatic center, which I didn't even really know was there. So that was
an awesome building, isn't it?
It was awesome.
And they're such great partners of us. That's Recreation and Parks. So that's another county agency that we partner with. We feel we're one, right? Like, we work with them side by side. They have students and we have food.
Right. So that was awesome. And honestly, the best part has been just, like, being in the office and, like, meeting everybody. Like, I know, like, names of grandkids and, like, what everybody does.
Pictures of grandkids.
Pictures of newborns, like, going to the same concert as one of them. Like, it's just been so much fun getting to, like, come to work and say good morning and ask how so-and-so's doing. Like, it's been so much fun.
Yeah. You could see it in your face. Like, you light up, and then so does everybody on the staff. Right. So it's really been... It's really... exactly, I think, what a true internship is supposed to be, right? Like, how are we preparing you to learn a new skill, learn something that you're going to use in the future? And clearly, you have taught us. So let's talk about a monthly motivation. So, I'm really into team building, and our team is the best team going. Right?
It is, yeah.
In our central office, the staff in our schools, I just love them. Like, they really... We say it's a family at work, just like we have an important family at home. They both are really, really important.
Yeah, so I value teamwork all the time. I'm an athlete. I have to. Because there's no team and I, so, like, I have to value it. And when you gave me the task to do a little fun, motivational teamwork project, I was like, this is awesome. So I think by far that was, like, my favorite.
Is that your favorite
project that I had to do?
I'm going to have to ask you after the show which one was more favorite. Is it the show, or was it the monthly? Might be the monthly motivation.
So you and I crafted a little Google form for them to fill out with a question for each month related to child nutrition, but also just, like, the season, the time of year we were in. And it was a one-word response. We would get them all back, and for the school year, we copy all the words and we put them into a little, like, word art picture that they're gonna hang up in their offices. So it'll be cute, and
it's gonna be phenomenal.
I love it. We did little food puns on the top, and very cute.
And again, all things that you added to it. And the best part is, for the viewers watching, here I am. I'm in this position. I've been here 30 years. And I didn't know how to really pull them from the Google sheet and put them in word art. I'm like, how do you do that? And Claire, you were like, I know how to do it. I'm gonna figure it out for you. And you gave me step-by-step directions.
I did.
So that was really priceless. And then you worked on another Google form about our emergency phone numbers and addresses, things that we use for all of our staff all the time, right? Something so key to what we're going to use in the future.
Yeah. So it's all been fun.
Good.
I've loved it.
And plentiful. I think there's probably been, do you think it's like 25? How many projects do you even think you did with us? Like, if you count each one, it's so many.
I'm not sure. I don't know. I've definitely done, like, little touches, I feel like, of
everything.
Of everything.
We're going to start serving some a la carte stuff, too.
Yes, so I made the new menu for that, which was fun. I did a little designing. Not that I'm very good at art. It's definitely not my talent. But we managed, and that was super fun, and just, like, something new to do, more on the artsy side of work. So.
And don't you think, like, your global communications again, or I could just picture again your teachers saying, Claire class, to all your other classmates, it's important to look at the spacing. Does it align, right?
Yep, you knew. I remember, I don't know if it was the menus, but I missed like one space, and you knew. It was exactly it. I was like, or I did like one extra.
There was an extra space.
And you knew, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I did that. Like, you're very pay attention to detail, but so am I. So,
yeah, well, and I think
it works out.
I think that's why it works out so well.
Yeah.
So what would you tell another student, right? So, I guess, did we talk about all your other clubs, though? Let's talk about your other clubs before we go about, like, for a student. So we talked about some that were through your global communications, but do you do other clubs that are, like, I know there's One Love Club that I know you're probably part of in the lacrosse community, right?
Yeah, so there are so many clubs at school. It's actually crazy. Like, in the beginning of the year, you look around the hallway and there's posters everywhere of like every club you could ever imagine. So freshman and sophomore year, I was a part of Best Buddies, which is with the special education kids, and and sometimes I'll stop in there all the time. It's been kind of, my junior year was hard, just with pencils and then like schoolwork. My schoolwork was crazy my junior year. So I stop in and I still text some of them, and they're just so awesome. Like, it brings such a big smile to my face. And so I've done polar bear plunge for, I think, 5 years.
You probably started in middle school.
I started in sixth grade, yeah. So 5 or 6 years, which has been so awesome. And I just love it. Like, it's such a
And again, giving back to Special Olympics, right? Special Olympics, also with your best buddies.
Yeah, so that was a very, like, feel-good event, and it's awesome. And then I did, Wreathholics was a club in school. It stopped, but for Wreaths Across America, we would go, to the big Wreaths Across America events, and, like, we went to the Arlington National Cemetery, and we would lay wreaths on veterans' graves, and sometimes we would go around, like, the South River area and just, like, put flags on veterans' graves for, like, Memorial Day and stuff. So it was awesome.
So many good things.
Yeah.
So we're down. We have, like, less than 2 minutes already.
That's crazy.
So if a student's watching right now, or a parent of a student, why should they apply for an internship, within Anne Arundel County Public Schools or anywhere? What advice would you give them?
I just think it's so awesome to get to step into the real world, like, from dressing up every day, like, something that I dreaded. I was like, this is what you do when you're older. And I think it just gives you, like, a newly found confidence of, like, oh, I can do this. Like, and it's just so awesome getting to meet other people and really get to know what happens behind the scenes and how, like, you work hard, and that's part of life. And it's awesome to just get that experience of, like, this is what life is like when you get out of school. So.
And you stayed so true. Like, even if there was a project that wasn't done, you're like, I'm going to stay.
Yeah.
I'm going to stay and I'm going to finish this because you asked me to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm going to finish it. So you truly are ready for the world.
I hope so.
You're so ready. Your work has been exceptional. Your personality, your attention to detail, just your commitment to who you are, to your family, to your friends, to your teachers, to your administrators. You're the whole package. So thank you for being a great intern. And thank you for doing a TV show.
Well, thank you for giving me this opportunity. It's been awesome.
Thank you.
Of course.
As you can see, it's really, really important for students to become interns in Anne Arundel County Public Schools. Claire's a perfect example of how an intern can really intermingle with the school nutrition program and make a huge success. If you have any questions about the school nutrition program, please call me at 410-222-5900. Thanks again. I'll see you next time on Food for Thought.